how all this started for you, the journey of reaching a point where you can share from the deepest place in your heart and your being to help other people see the same joy that you have. And I'm looking at you and you look extremely joyous and in love.
Well, I am. Yes, and that's been a journey. It has been a journey. I had a very challenging childhood, had a very abusive mother and a father who did nothing to help me out with that at all. So I had a lot of pain in my heart. I had a lot of fear. I was actually terrified of my mother, and I had a lot of anger. And what my childlike mind decided to do with all that was shut it all down and live in my head. And I think that was a good decision at the time, because it helped me survive all of that, because I just didn't want to get hurt anymore. And then as I grew older and stepping out into life, I realized I needed to heal myself. And the main person that was the incentive for me to heal myself was my son, when my son was born. Because I knew that if I did not heal myself, I was simply going to transmit all this fear and anger and pain to him. Because, as you know, we transmit our feelings out to others. And so I started looking around. I'd never been able to do meditation, just sit there with my eyes closed, because I had so much inner turmoil, you know, in the mind, emotional turmoil and physical stress in the body, that I just couldn't do it. But then I heard about an enlightened master called Osho, who was in India. And I heard that he had all these expressive meditation techniques. For example, the laughter, as we're going to talk about the laughter later. The idea of these expressive techniques is that in the first stage, you express out of your body-mind the pain, which you can do in the tears meditation, the anger, which you can do in the gibberish meditation. You can unleash your laughter and joy, which is always there. Mine had just got shut down. You can do the laughter meditation to release all of that. And then there's humming meditations, which are from the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. There is a Osho Kundalini, which is a shaking meditation, which is very good for releasing stress from the body. There's a dynamic meditation, which is very good for dumping out anger and just getting your energy going. Because what happened to me and people like me is we get stuck. We're so busy shoving everything down because we don't want to feel anything that we become sort of numb. I could almost say I spent my childhood in a kind of numb paralysis, if you like. And so by the time my son was, let's see, I think he was 14 months old. When I was sick, I should back up a little bit. When I was 6 months pregnant, I found out my husband was having an affair. So that just added to even more pain and betrayal and outrage and so on. So I divorced him because couldn't trust him anymore. And I took my son to India in the hope that when he was 14 months old, I took him in the hope that I could find some healing, because that's what I was looking for. Yeah. And the good news is I did find the healing. I started doing all these expressive meditation techniques. And I should mention that I talked a lot about the first stages of releasing the emotions, but the second stage is always sitting in silence. And So I also learned the Vipassana witnessing technique created by the Buddha 25 centuries ago. So that what happened to me over time was that I released all of these turbulent emotions from my body mind, and I found inner peace. I found myself, my true authentic self. And also I got chosen to train to teach all these meditations. So I did really well to
You were a natural.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was just all, it felt like it was really meant to be, you know, that first of all, I had to go and heal myself. And this happened over a period of years, of several visits to Osho's meditation resort in India. But then I reached a point where I felt like I had got what I went there for, which was basically inner peace. And so when I came back, I realized that I was going to teach all these meditations. I'd also got certified as a hypnotherapist, and that I got certified in that in Northern California. And so Discover Meditation Training was born, my business, and I got going.
That's brilliant. I wonder what how your son took to all this, because he in utero he experienced you one way, and then shortly after he experienced you a new way. Has he developed in a enlightened way that you would want?
Yes. I mean, he's turned out very fantastic, which was my original goal, you know, because I didn't want to be the same kind of mother as my mother was, because then I knew what would happen. You know, we'd have one more person in misery and suffering in the world. And so I wanted to change that. And so because I did so much work on myself and had so much self-awareness, then he has not had to go through the suffering that I went through. And he's a very successful life. Yeah.
How fortunate. How fortunate.
And he's healthy and he's happy and he has tremendous integrity. So that's the thing I'm most pleased about, that he turned out so great.
Congratulations on that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I see we have a lot we can discuss, and I would love to focus on the laughter, because we're not doing a lot of that. I'm not seeing a lot of laughter this day and age, and practicing that with you is really fun, and I can feel a change in myself, and I would love to hear how you describe that meditation.
Absolutely. It's one of my favorite topics.
All right.
So the laughter meditation has 2 stages. In the first stage, we laugh for no reason at all. I'm not a stand-up comedian or anything like that. We just laugh, and there's no talking in English or any language you understand. It's just laughing, and which is actually easier than you might think to get yourself going. And then I do one chime with my chimes, and then we sit in silence and take the energy of the laughter inside. And what I have found with people is that when people do the laughter first, it's much easier for them to drop inside, drop down to their center 2 inches below the navel, and find their inner peace. It's just quicker, because the energy of the laughter is very strong. Laughter is a powerful energy. And what it does is it starts digging its way down through all the blocks, because I had blocks from in my throat and all the way down to my center, and I laughed my way through them, literally. And
it goes right through your physiology.
Yep, it does. And we all have this giggle point down in the navel there. And so when the energy goes past the giggle point, you can't not laugh. Yeah. So
I'm already finding the giggle point. That's right.
yes, yes.
Great.
And
Yeah.
so, and the laughter has so many benefits. It's beneficial for the body because we release a tremendous amount of stress from the physical body. It's beneficial for the heart. It opens the heart, which is really good for all our relationships. You can't hate people that you're laughing with. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very good for calming down the mind. So if you have a lot of anxiety or worry or fear, which live in the mind, laughing erases all of that, because you can't be worried and laughing at the same time.
Right.
So laughter helps you be more relaxed about your life and any problems you have, which is a good thing, because the more relaxed you are, the more your creativity is available to you. And it's our creativity we need for solutions to the problems in life. And that, so we've got the body, the heart, the mind, and then the soul. Laughter is one of the quickest ways, as actually I think I just mentioned, to help us drop down to connect with our center, our soul, our spirit. And so laughter has a very spiritual dimension to it too.
Which is what I would love for people to experience, a sensation of going in, because a lot of people feel like, oh, I can't meditate. I can't, I can't sit still, and I can't, but people can laugh.
Yeah, they can laugh. They like to laugh as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, they can't sit still because we have all these tensions in the body. And when we, especially when we spend a lot of our day maybe in front of the computer in the office sitting, then it's not so appealing to sit in a meditation. But with these expressive techniques, they are an opportunity to release all the tensions from the body and mind. And then it's much easier to sit in silence.
Someone might say, oh, I feel ridiculous laughing by myself at my computer or if other people are around. What do you say to them?
Well, you do feel ridiculous, especially at the beginning. I mean, I've been doing it for over 20 years, so I don't care anymore if I'm being ridiculous or if I look ridiculous. I just don't care, And remember, that's the ego that thinks it looks ridiculous. But the cool thing about laughter is all children laugh very easily. And if you're laughing, laughter is a very, what's the word? It transmits infectious.
Oh,
it's a very infectious energy. And so people want to, they want to laugh as well, but at least they might start smiling.
Which I've already done several times on this recording.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
We're just talking about it.
Yeah. Finding myself just consistently with a smile on my face here. It's it looks like a direct way into the soul. And
it is.
I've even had people say, what's that? Or why would I want to go there? What would I say to them about and I would maybe say something like, well, don't you want to feel well, healthy, and even wise?
Yes, well, it does bring you that. What laughter brings you into harmony, into alignment or attunement with your the spiritual part of you. And even if you have no clue about what that is, what you will get is just this sense of at easeness, of of well-being, because the laughter is triggering the joy that is in all of us. Joy is a part of our essential self. We're all born full of joy, full of laughter, full of peace and wisdom and creativity. These are all natural qualities that every single person on this planet is born with.
Mm.
And if you've lost touch with those qualities, like I had, then the laughter meditation is a great way to get back in touch with them, to open you up. And laughter is actually a dimension of love.
Mm.
And it's love that we all want to feel, to give, and to receive. Because ultimately, I think that's why we're all here, to experience love. And then, of course, the highest dimension of love, which is compassion. And it's difficult to feel compassion when you're feeling angry or in pain or in fear. But as those get healed, then it's easier to feel the love and the compassion. And especially compassion for ourselves, because some of us, like me, had a rough time of it growing up. And so, you know, we have to be very compassionate with ourselves on this journey of life.
Indeed, indeed. I'm thinking about adept people like Osho or Swami Veda Bharati or the Dalai Lama or Sadhguru. They love to laugh.
Yeah, they do.
They see the quirkiness and in life, and can see through it.
Yes.
And I would think just asking myself to laugh for no reason at all, to change my point of view, I would feel my point of view could be changed to match, hopefully, one of these adepts.
Yes. Well, see, the thing is that people like the people you've just mentioned, they are not ruled by the mind. And it's the mind that so often trips us up, because fear lives in the mind, and worry and anxiety and comparison and judgment. And those are the things that cause suffering, cause us to suffer, especially judgment, I think. And more than judging other people, we judge ourselves for not being this, and I should be this, and I ought to be that, and so on. And so one of the great things I love about meditation, and this is now I'm addressing more the second part of the laughter meditation, where I encourage everybody to sit and witness the mind and learn how to disidentify from the mind, because we are not the mind, and let the thoughts pass by, because they're just thoughts. They're actually not real. The only reality is the present moment. And so just to let all those thoughts pass by, and as you practice, you start to feel more at peace and less at the effect of the thoughts of the mind, because a lot of the thoughts are negative. And
that's how you can, that's how you can find out that thoughts are only thoughts.
Yes.
They're not real. That would be an example of how you can shift your energy and notice that you feel different about that thought you had.
Yes, exactly, because thoughts are like shadows. You know, when you walk down the street on a sunny day and you see your shadow, so the shadow is not real. You are real, but the shadow is not real. And thoughts are shadows. They are not real. And so the more you learn to witness, to observe, to stand back and see, oh, they're just thoughts, they're not even real, then we don't believe them because we don't want to be believing our thoughts. and then you become free of the mind, and that doesn't mean you don't have a mind. Actually, your mind is even more clear and even more creative when it's not full of all kinds of cluttery negativity.
Yeah, it's more useful, I would.
Yes, exactly. And so then it's much easier too to see the humor in everything, because you're more in touch with your heart, with your body, and with your spirit, and
more available to another human being.
Yes, more available in every way, more present. Yes, and these masters that you've mentioned, see, they have achieved to that, which is why they can laugh. And something very helpful I learned from Osho was the difference between sincerity and seriousness. The mind, when we listen to the mind is deathly serious about everything. But what I learned is that you can be sincere, which is the heart, but you don't have to be serious about it. So I'm very sincere about meditation and my meditation classes and teachings and my own meditation, but I'm not serious about it.
That's a very successful approach.
Yes, it is.
Very successful. I'd love to know more, and I'd like to tell people more about, before we get into a laughter meditation, perhaps more about your website, which is discovermeditation.com. And on it, you have links there to LinkedIn and Facebook, and your books on Amazon, and YouTube as well. Lots of YouTube, wonderful YouTube meditations. You can, I'd like to let people know that they can get really good, lots of examples of meditation with Pragito and you can just do that with her. And there's some of them are very short, and you even get a free gift if you subscribe to a free gift, which thank you very much. I used very, very lovingly. I appreciated that. And anything else that I'm missing talking about that you can add?
Let me see. I can just show you
like some workshops that might be coming
Yes,
up?
workshops. And I'll just show you. These are the two books.
Lunchtime Enlightenment
and Laughter, Tears, Silence. These are on Amazon. So if you want to find out more about what I'm talking about here, and you like reading books, then there's your books. And wonderful. Yes, I do a lot of programs, and coming up on starting on March the 8th, and this is on Zoom, is a 4-week class. It's one class a week, and it's called The 4 Dimensions of Abundance, Getting Out of Your Own Way.
Wow.
And of course, everything I do is based on meditation, but we take a deeper look at the 4 dimensions of abundance and how we get in our own way from having that.
And then discovering what it is we really want.
Yep.
I would think.
Exactly.
And sometimes what we think we want and what we might benefit more from might be different.
Yep.
Interesting. So that takes some silence and some quiet time. That sounds like a wonderful program. That's March 8th.
Starts on March the 8th. It's on Zoom.
2022 on Zoom. And we can find that link possibly on your website, I would think.
Yes, it is. It is on my website. Yes.
Okay. So find your way there and register if you find that you need to deepen your soul and your knowledge of what you need and want next. And could I ask you please to take us through a laughter session and how that works for our guests.
Absolutely.
And I'd love to let people know that if you're driving or handling anything with machinery or sharp, you can put that to rest for a few minutes and join us, or just put us on pause and join us later. So we're ready.
Okay, so what we're going to do first is just put our hands up in the air and shout Yahoo 3 times. And then we're going to just burst out laughing.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to laugh for no reason. And then I will do 1 chime, and we'll sit in silence for about the same amount of time as the laughter. And then I will do 3 chimes, and that will be the end of the meditation.
Okay.
And we'll just do a short little clip. All right, great. Okay. Yahoo!
Yahoo!
Yahoo! Yahoo!
Yahoo!
Now we'll close our eyes and take the energy of the laughter inside.
Pragito, can I share what my experience was?
Absolutely, please do.
My whole body felt tingly. I had sensations from head to toe, fingertips, very tumesced kind of feeling. And I also had this thought that if I laughed a little bit louder, I would experience tears.
Yes.
And which was another revolution of that experience. And then there was a nice peaceful settling in to my chair. Those are all qualities I enjoy in feeling happy and towards more happiness.
Yes. And I'm really glad you mentioned the tears. So this is my second book, Laughter, Tears, Silence. Okay, because laughter and tears are 2 sides of the same coin. We could either burst out laughing or burst into tears about a particular incident. And both laughter and tears are expressions of the heart.
Mm.
They are when the mind can't deal with it anymore, so we just start laughing, or we just start crying. And what you mentioned there, you felt like you were on the verge of crying. So that's very common, and that's because the tears and the laughter are so closely aligned. And so if that does happen, just allow the tears, but don't stop the laughter. Just keep on laughing, but allowing that feeling of the tears, because in nature, laughter and tears is the rainbow. When it's sunny and then it rains, we get a rainbow. And so that's a beautiful experience. And there is a meditation that I teach from time to time. It's the laughter and tears meditation. So we do the laughter one day, we do the tears the next day, and on the third day, we do the witnessing the mind.
Interesting.
It's very powerful, very deep healing.
I'm sure there's so many emotions that come up. I was sensing a lot of different emotions, not just one. And the other thing I wanted to tell you is my TMJ was and yawning. Those were all parts of things that I work on releasing regularly, and that I know worked really well. The laughing, because the jaw.
Releasing tensions from the body, and we collect most of our tensions in the face. So this is, so you're already, and we only did it for a few minutes, you're already getting benefits from it. So imagine if you do it for longer. And if you do it every day, several times a day, but certainly
whenever possible.
Yes, and certainly at least once a day, because it's the consistency, because your body's going to get used to it, and you're going to be releasing a tremendous amount of tensions from the body and from the mind, and releasing emotions too.
It's so sensible. It's so rational. It's so believable. It's so real. One can, it's a visceral experience. So the proof is in the laughter, I shall say.
Yes. Yes. And how did you experience the silence?
The silence, I think it's because I'm partly paying attention to our programming. But I also know quickly how to go into my silence. Yes. So it because of where the laughter goes to, it quickly sent me, and I could have stayed there a long time. Believe me, it's just so nice to have your company and your presence here today to encourage that.
Thank you.
Really lovely. Really, really lovely. Wow. I am very grateful to have you on today and to share your knowledge with your loving, your being. And I want everybody to know this is Pragito Dove, and her website again is discovermeditation.com. And hopefully you'll hear from lots of people who want to know more about this and practice with you. Yeah. So she'll have you back one day if you'll have us in your home.
Absolutely.
Again.
I would love to come back, and thank you for having me here. I'm very grateful to you, because it's always a great joy for me to talk about meditation, and especially the laughter meditation, or any of the meditations for that matter. So thank you.
Yeah. We'll take my guest and your guests on journeys to the inside. To the inside. Thank you again. And I'm going to let everyone know that we enjoyed that you shared your knowledge and your experience with us, and you do wonderful work in the world. Thank you so much. And everyone, please subscribe to masterthepause.com. Let us know what inspired you today, and hopefully you too can find your breath and your laughter. and send us your email, and I'll send you 5 tips on how to begin to notice your breathing and beginning meditation. And subscribe to patreon.com as well /master the pause. And twice a month, you'll be notified of new inspirations with my awesome guests, and you'll get notifications as well. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a wonderful laugh. Thank you.